Hi trumpet players, welcome back to another MJOMEF instructional video. I'm your trumpet teacher Shan, and let's get started. So today we are going to learn 3 more concepts. Last time we learned common time, 4/4 time. Today I'm going to teach you about 2/4 time. Time signature is how we show how many beats will be in 1 bar or measure. So 2/4 time looks like this. You'll see there's 2 numbers stacked on top of each other. The bottom number represents quarter notes, 4 quarters in a whole. So we will be counting the beats using quarter notes. And then the top number represents how many quarter notes will be in 1 measure. So two quarter notes will be in 1 measure. So for example, in common time, 4/4 time, 4 quarter notes, we would count 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 quarter notes in 1 measure. In 2/4 time, 2 quarter notes, we would count 2 quarter notes in each measure. 1, 2, 1, 2. Our second concept is key signature. If you look at the beginning of the music, you'll see the treble clef, you'll see our time signature, and then after that, you'll see the key signature. Key signatures are made up of sharps and flats. Up until now, we've only had key signatures without sharps or flats. So a sharp looks like this. A sharp will make a note go up a half step. So if I were to play C, a C sharp will be up a half step. So C, C sharp. It goes up in pitch. And then a flat, which looks like this, a flat makes a note go down a half step. If I play an E flat sounds like this. So E flat. So sharps and flats are symbols musicians use to say, oh, this note needs to go up a half step, or hey, this note needs to go down a half step. When we're looking at the beginning of our music and we see treble clef, time signature, say 2/4, you'll see whether there's a sharp or a flat in the staff. And that will tell you if you need to change any of the notes, because a key signature tells you, oh, these notes will always be sharp in this music. Our final concept number 3, is slurs and ties. So a slur and a tie looks very similar. It looks like this. It's a line that goes under or over the notes on your page. When a note isn't slurred, it means you're going to tongue it. Do you remember how to tongue? That's how we articulate the notes in our music. I'm going to play C, D, E, F, G using tonguing. So ta, 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 ta. Notice my notes have a clear beginning. Ta, 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 ta. And then when we have a slur underneath it, don't tongue, just let the air be consistent as the notes change. So instead of ta, 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 we might play it ta. So here's a slur. Tongued. Slurred. And in both of these situations, I'm keeping my air consistent. I'm not going ta, 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 or it's all one consistent airstream. The only difference is whether you're using your tongue or not to separate the notes. So remember, you gotta take a good breath and keep that air consistent. Okay, so a tie looks very similar to a slur. It's also a line that goes under or over. But a tie connects 2 notes that are the same notes. The reason we use a tie is when you see a tie, you're going to hold that note for as long as both of the notes that are under that tie. So the difference between a tie and a slur connects notes that are changing. So like in our example, C, D, E, F, G. But a tie connects two of the same notes. So if a C half note was tied to a C quarter note, how many beats would I hold that C? Half note gets how many counts? 1, 2, 2 counts. And a quarter note gets how many counts? 1. So if we tie it together, 2 plus 1, 3. So we're gonna hold that note for 3 counts. Let me give you an example of half note C, quarter note C without a tie. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, and now here's a C, half note C, and a quarter note C tied together. 1, 2, ready, go. If you have trouble keeping up with these concepts, feel free to rewind the video and watch it a couple times, think about it, sleep on it. Alright, now that we've learned our concepts, we can put them into action. We're going to learn a new song today called Farm Out. So the first thing we do when we see a new piece of music, take a look at it, observe it, see what's going on with this music. We're going to look at the very beginning. We've got a treble clef. Seems consistent with trumpets. Next, we're going to look at time signature. This time signature looks a little bit different from the previous time signatures we've worked with, which were either 4/4 or a C for common time. Do you see our new concept, 2/4? The top number means we get 2 quarter notes for each measure. 1, 2, 1, 2. I see in the second measure a slur from our notes F to C. So that means when we play the second measure, F to C, we won't be tonguing it. Ta, ta. We will be slurring it. Ta. After we've looked at the music and kind of taken stock of what's going on, we're going to look at rhythm. Remember, when we're counting off, we're going to think 1, 2, 1, 2. Starting with the first 4 bars of Farm Out, let's say the rhythm notation together. So it looks like there's quarter notes and half notes, okay? So 1, 2, 1, 2. Quarter, 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 half. All right, did you get it? Good job. Now let's look at the notes. So in Farm Out, we start with an F, the first space in the stack. Let's play 2 quarter notes together, 2 quarter note Fs. 1, 2, 1. In the second bar, F, C, we've got a slur there. So we're not going to be tonguing it, we're just going to be slurring it. So that sounds like 1, 2, 1. You think you can play the first 2 bars together with me? Let's try it. And remember to breathe, okay? I'm going to count 1, 2, 1. Breathe, F, 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 C. Okay? 1, 2, 1. All right, the next 2 measures, we've got another repetition. D, D. And then we come back to that bottom note. C, D, D, C. Let's play D, D, C. 1, 2, 1. So let's play all 4 measures together. Remember to slur the second measure. 1, 2, 1. All right, let's play one more time for good luck. 1, 2, 1. The next section starts on a higher note. A. Do you remember? 1 and 2 is the fingering for A. A is the second space note in our staff. Let's look at the rhythm. We've got quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, half note, quarter. And you'll see the tie. So we'll say tie for 3 counts instead of half note, quarter. Count with me. 1, 2, ready, go. Quarter, 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 tie, quarter. Now let's look at the notes. The first measure starts on an A. The second measure is another repeated note. We've got the line note just below A, G. Let's try and play the first 2 measures. So A, G, G. If you're having trouble reaching those high notes, try and play a little bit louder. Playing a little bit louder means that you need to use a little bit more air, and we want that good air support. Okay. 1, 2, 1. All right, how'd it sound? I'll give you one more chance. 1, 2, 1. And then the last 2 measures, we've got that tie. Half note tied to a quarter note is on F. And then on the 4th measure, after that tied quarter note, we've got another quarter note that goes back down to C. So F, C. Let's play the second half of the 4 measures. So starting from the tied F. 1, 2, 1. Remember, when you're playing that tied note, you want to make sure you're playing all 3 beats. You're holding that note for 3 beats. So when I'm playing, I'm thinking in my head, 1, 2, 3, 1. I'm counting. And don't just space out when you're holding that note. We have to stay focused and keep that counting, that internal rhythm. We're going to play these next 4 bars. 1, 2, 1. Did you take a good breath that time? Did you hit all the notes? Was it hard to hold that tie out for 3 counts? Were you counting in your head? Try and review all those things. And let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 1. To finish off this song, we just need to repeat the first 8 bars that we just learned a second time. So it'll go F, 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 C, D, D, C, A, G, G, F, C, F, 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 C, D, D, C, A, G, G, F. Do you recognize the tune? Are you ready to play the whole song with me? I think you are. Let's try it together. 1, 2, 1. Okay, could you play it? Good job! Again, I'm trumpet teacher Shan, And thank you for joining me in our trumpet lessons. I hope you've been practicing. I hope these lessons have been helpful, and keep going.